rises, as the legion of a great empire marches to the western borders, inciting fear to the lands that the Seven Kingdoms had protected. But their movement was suddenly disrupted into a complete halt when cries of men were heard from a distance, under the cover of a heavy fog. The shouting and the sound of drums beating were no Western culture, it was an unfamiliar foreign entity. The sound they make were like growling monsters in a low tone of voice. Ready shields, ordered by a captain, and the crushing noise of a wooden shields piling close together in a row, with spears protruding outwards. And in their surprise, a large mounted riders swooped in within the files of the legionary, followed by the brawling war cries of the enemy as they clashed shields, trying to break through the Imperial formation with brute force. The enemy were giants, and they were like large bulldozing tanks. But the Imperial soldiers held firm on the ground, absorbing all the punishing blows they received. Steady, called by the captain, standing alongside his legion against the relentless hordes of enemy wave, resisting the enemy advance that turned the tide of event into a stalemate. Procio, said by a general named Julius, as he relayed the order to his men to move forward. Then, his legionnaires pushed them back with their shields, stabbing the enemy with the sword in such accurate precision, allowing them to move in advance, while threading over the dead corpses of the enemy. The enemy was forced to make another cavalry charge to their flanks, but were anticipated by the legionnaires' cavalry force, followed by a thundering sound of a deafening blow with an indecent smell of fumes that mustered through the air, causing scores of dead bodies to fall to the ground as enemy riders fell from their mounts. The enemy were more persistent in trying to destroy the legionary formation, but the battle-hardened men of the Empire would not cease to give up nor falter from the discipline to waver against the odds of pushing back the enemy's advance. The riders and with their Ronatites resorted into a suicidal battle frenzy, creating chaos that made the enemy berserkers raged in like wild animals, cleaving through their way in with great axes in hand, hacking the Imperial shields in half, like butter. Posterii, Seki, Aliam Porpati Dosirihim, said by Julius with his enticing speech, leaping down from his mount and joins the ranks of his men. His encouragement gave boost of morale towards them, staggering an impossible feat of glory, until a showering hail of explosion distorts the ground and amassing heavy casualties that cause the enemy to cower in retreat. The trembling blast of a terrifying sound echoed through the ears of men, which came from an artillery package that was brought from the Empire, with a relief force of a grand army behind it.